Peace, everyone. I pray all is well. Something that I've noticed about my life as of lately is that I spend most of my time connecting with people in meaningful ways through a screen. And it's all good, it is what it is. I love to live my life. I love to be alive. I love to exist here. It's a beautiful existence. And I feel very blessed. But I simply notice the ways that we connect and the ways that I've been connecting personally. And I very much appreciate being able to connect, to create with people in person. Oftentimes, when I go into social settings where there's actually people, there is almost a sense of discomfort. And, it's manageable. But I've spent a lot of time feeling overwhelmed or unfulfilled in social settings. And I've put that into question often. And I have concluded that a lot of the interactions that I was having were hard for me to navigate, partially because I'm a sensitive person. Not like, oh, I'm so emotional and I'm sad. It's more like I'm very sensitive to energy. And it's easy for me to perceive disharmonious vibrations. What's a disharmonious vibration? I feel like it's relative. If I communicate with somebody and there is over speculation on negative things or things that are not growth oriented, I find that very disharmonious for me to be around. It feels uncomfortable. It feels just boring too. Not only disharmonious, but genuinely boring. I don't like wasting my time thinking about things that are negatively charged or in unproductive ways or in ways that are just like, I don't know. I like to be around vibrations that are growth oriented. I like to be around vibrations that are interested or interesting. I took quite some time away in a completely different country, and being there was interesting to say the least. I was connecting with different kinds of people. I was expressing myself in different ways because the vibration was different, the energy was different. I had gone through a lot of transformations in the process. Learning myself, if you will. And feeling into my own energy, getting to know myself. Now, I would imagine that if there is a disconnect from one's ability to meaningfully connect with people in real life, that there is much potential for negative consequences to our mental state of being, our mental health. I feel like it's relevant, and it's just to open your mind to an awareness that maybe you've already been thinking about. It's just coming to me right now, really. Mostly because I just left the grocery store. I went to go pick up some things, and I seen this guy, older man, and he was the kind of guy that I usually would not talk to at all. Since I've been back, I've been looking at my reality here from a completely different lens. This is something that I always have learned on my travels, is that No matter how much you think that the environment is the cause for the perception of disharmony, ultimately it is what you are experiencing within yourself that you're attracting into your life. And it's hard for me to really lock into that because there is so much disharmony that you're able to see when you live up to a certain standard. You just become aware of a lot of negativity that surrounds, understandably, but it's up to one to really be able to raise the bar. It's really up to one to be able to self-regulate your emotions and your thought patterns. And I've learned this over and over again, that no matter how well I take care of myself, I'm connected to everything. And that only amplifies this connectability even more. The more I align with myself, the more that I attune myself to harmony within, the more I perceive an even deeper connection with the environment around me. But if my mind is locked in on the disharmonious vibrations within the beings that surround, then I tend to become full of hastiness, or just, I got my guard up, I always have my guard up. It's ridiculous. And I have to check myself, and I have to work on this constantly. And I'm just speaking like now, coming into this realization at this time. But I low-key have known this for some time. It's like the lessons come in new ways and in more powerful ways as time goes on. And so anyways, I'm in this grocery store and I'm having this conversation with this man, and usually externally I would perceive a person or just like perceive a certain kind of energy and just be like, no, I'm not trying to deal with that, right? And today I chose to shift my inner dialogue about this person, because he just came out of nowhere and he was very persistent. He was very much like really wanting to talk, I was talking to somebody that I have run into that I've known for some time, and he just chimed into the conversation, and he proceeded to tell me about his experience and all these different kinds of things that he went into. And it was actually challenging for me to not perceive something negative. Like, I had to actively, in the moment, shift the negative things that I was perceiving about this man, the resistance that I was having to this interaction. And it's like you always have that choice to just dismiss somebody and just move on, just keep going, or actually engage. And I didn't like the things that I was thinking about this person. I didn't like the way that I was responding mentally to this individual. It just didn't feel right. Like, in my heart, I wanted to challenge myself in that moment, to elevate my perspective. And as I did, I realized that he was a very interesting person who was really longing to share. As an older man, sometimes when you're older, you have a lot of wisdom, you have a lot to share, and maybe you're not allotted that opportunity because there are certain perspectives that people have of you for, having the physical form that you do or expressing the way that you do. So I spent a lot of time working with elderly people and just people in hospice, like near end of life, palliative care, things of that nature. It's not something that's hard for me to do, but I've grown bitter even in that sense, because of my deep desire over the years to disconnect from that part of myself and from that life experience, from that lived experience. So yeah, I opened myself to this person and I elevated my perspective. Now I'm seeing the ways that this positively impacted my mental health, the way that it positively impacted my energy, my mind. So instead of thinking all these negative things and projecting these negativities onto this person who's genuinely just interested in me, genuinely just wanting to connect in a meaningful way, I chose to rise. I chose to listen. I don't know what of it that I received exactly, but I know that it led me to this moment, this precious moment where I'm expressing to you. It sent me in a different trajectory, energetic trajectory. And I would imagine that sharing or projecting positivity, projecting love and elevation to another being sent me in a more positive trajectory. One really important aspect of this, though, be mindful of how much energy you give, the ways in which you give your energy, the context, things of this nature. Just because I was sharing with this man in a kind and respectable way doesn't mean that I was going to be taken away by this current, or I was going to come to some sort of conclusion that it was anything more than just a present moment experience of love and expression. Yeah, I say that because sometimes when people are mentally unwell, they attach themselves to your energy, or you attach yourself to another person's energy in a way that's, I don't know how to describe it. I think it's kind of crazy. Like, I don't know what other word to describe it as except like weird and insane. And this is why I've closed myself off so much, because I've met a lot of weird people who have just had this energy that I just don't want near me. I don't, and I've had to protect myself in that sense. But at the same time,
in the middle of the road,
the way that I went about that was by just being extremely negative towards them,
I just wait for him to
as
say
opposed
something. He
to
doesn't
just
say anything. So
allowing
I get up
things to
as I
flow
intended, go get ready for the
and
gym. I start walking
allowing
back
myself
to
to
my house.
make light of a situation.
And
You know, it's not like
I
this guy
noticed
was,
that he's following me in his car
you know, my
while
new
I'm
best
walking.
friend. It's not like
And on the way back, I even checked the mail.
I was
Opened my
totally
mailbox,
on
checked
board
the
with
mail.
the whole situation, but
And so now this cat is following me. And the funny thing is that
something
he's like
to
on
think
one side of
about,
the road, and a car is,
and
he's
I
driving
pray
real
that it was
slow
helpful in
because
any
he's
way.
following me, right? But a car's trying to pass through, and so as soon
I
as he
appreciate you for
is
watching.
parallel to me, this car stops in between us. And you could tell this guy is a little bit more centered. And so he stops between us and opens his window to talk to this guy right in front of me. And this guy's just like, oh, no, not you. He drives away, right? The guy who stopped in between us. And then he looks at me and he goes, everything okay? And I'm like, yeah, everything is great. Is everything okay with you? And he goes, yeah. Do you live here? I've never seen you before. And I was like, yeah, I do live here. I've never seen you before. Do you live here? And he goes, no, I don't live here. And I was like, interesting. Now you don't live here, and I've never seen you before. But I do live here, and you're questioning me. Because you never seen me. That's interesting. And he's just like, yeah. And I'm like, I'm glad we got that out of the way. It's like, the thing about it is that when I have to have these interactions, my heart just races. And it spikes my motherfucking cortisol. I don't like that shit. And then I have to speculate on this shit. I don't like thinking of, like, what the fuck? I don't like expending my energy on this shit. But then it's like a thing. So I have to sit and process. And the way that I process is I take my voice notes out and I talk myself through it. Works every time.
Place that you will go, there's a knowing that if you follow your heart, your aorta and the river flowing within the arteries. We got the batteries on full all the time, cause it's electric and we know that it is riding and climbing, trying, flying through the night when. Cause here come the drums. Here come the phone. Here come the hot on baby. Who do you keep in mind? We go ahead and see, can we find? NK music on the track.
Stop telling your visions to other people, because they're not going to see it. Why do you keep imagining buying a house? Why do you keep imagining driving a really nice car? Why do you keep imagining that? Because God is talking to you. He's showing you something that he has for you. He puts it in your imagination.
That was 2020 visions. Now it's full fruition. Silent moving, silent, hella violent. And I'm a misfit, baby. I won't get over it. I won't get under it. NK music on the track. Stay steady, choosing way from left. Imagination truly has the same effect on our bodies. We are water, you see, with your mind all the time, like the breeze, instead of hard to believe. Is it so hard to believe? Is it so hard? Is it so hard to believe? I ain't isolated in solitude and amazing, surrounded by nature, embracing, essence of grace so spacious. Graciously wishing that all of God's children came into existence eternally, learning, rolling, relaxing in all of these grasses. But a grasp on discerning, turning resentment into ways to convey what I'm representing.